Kingdom Hearts 3D. Yeah, at the time of this game's release, it was a little controversy among fans. We were excited for the next numbered genre in the lineup, Kingdom Hearts 3, and Nomura released Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, also called Kingdom Hearts 3D. And this game was released on Nintendo 3DS systems. This game I played religiously in high school. At this point, I was going into my senior year, and this was the reason I bought a 3DS. I knew I was going to get the new Pokemon game at some point, and I had a lot of time to play it since being a senior, the teacher stopped caring after a certain point. I found myself playing this in class after assignments, but another story element that was added that caught my attention, Neku from The World Ends With You shows up in this game, another Square Enix game. I couldn't find it at any retailer at the time, and I didn't have money to buy it online, so I emulated it. I ended up playing through a bit of it, and I finished one story mode, and I was done. Emulating DS games with touch controls is never really fun, but I did enjoy what I played, and got a general idea of what was to come with the game eventually coming out, and it prompted me to buy the game when it came out on the Nintendo Switch, The World Ends With You Final Remix. Nomura, what is up with you and having remix at the end of your ports? It's not a music track. Well, this intro ran long enough. I'll be looking at the PS4 edition since I have no way of capturing on a 3DS yet. So let's go ahead and dive into Kingdom Hearts 3D. Following from the last game where Xigbar rounded up a majority of Organization 13 members and did something to them that we won't find out till endgame, but just know most of the Organization peeps are not dead anymore. Cut to the mysterious tower, Yen Sid tells Sora and Riku how great they are for beating the Heartless and Nobodies and saving the world twice, and that it's astounding that they are self-taught Keyblade wielders, but now they're going to go ahead and wipe the slate clean to learn properly for training purposes, as well from a gameplay standpoint to have them back to square one. He also explains that Xehanort is once again making the X-Blade, or the Keyblade, saying that it's made up of 20 pieces, 7 of light and 13 of darkness, in which when they clash or are gathered, the X-Blade can be made. Apparently in Birth by Sleep, much like the fake Kingdom Hearts that the first time we see, the X-Blade is not the true way to make a X-Blade. So Xehanort wants the X-Blade because it's the only way to access the true Kingdom Hearts. He can do this by making 13 of darkness and gathering the 7 lights, whether they be the Princesses of Light or the 7 Keyblade wielders of light. So Yen Sid wants Sora and Riku to become proper masters. Yen Sid, however, doesn't teach them how to use the Keyblades, and instead reverts them to their Kingdom Hearts 1 forms, making them younger and send them back to Destiny Island. Yen Sid wants them to use the power of waking so they can wake the sleeping worlds that didn't come back from darkness thanks to the events of Kingdom Hearts 1. So we're going to the worlds that are asleep and enter their dreams, which is just a way to create a new enemy that isn't a Heartless or a Nobody. So they're starting their adventure, and Ursula is here for some reason, but Sora and Riku fall into the water, and their Keyblades become sentient and save their wielders, and then Sora and Riku drop into the second sleeping world, Traverse Town, which I guess makes sense. This world only shows up when it's needed, and then Neku from The World Ends With You, and Neku teaches you flow motion. More on that later, which, by the way, it's not a thing from his game, so after following Neku, he teaches you about this game's new ally and enemy, and Nomura's new cash grab, Dream Eaters. These little Pokemon-like creatures are your party members as well as spirits, and in this game's enemy, nightmares. And while some of these designs are pretty cool, they aren't as interesting as previous enemies in this series. What is cool is that their more dangerous enemies can become your allies, like dragons and T-Rexes. Then yes, the drop mechanic. So like Birth by Sleep, you play as more than one character. However, unlike Birth by Sleep, you play as Sora and Riku simultaneously in a way. And by that, it's this little meter right here. When it reaches 0, Sora and Riku will fall asleep and the other one takes over, and we'll get to that mechanic a little bit later in the gameplay section. Riku wakes up and meets the other half of The World Ends With You heroes. You find out that Sora and Riku aren't together in the same world, that it's split into 2, which will be explained later, but if you keep an eye out, you can kind of see what's going on. Sora and Riku go to a bunch of Disney properties, like Hunchback of Notre Dame, Pinocchio's Prankster Paradise, and A Return to Monstro, Tron Legacy, which they explain that this world is the original, that the one in the Kingdom Hearts 2 is a copy that Ansem the Wise used as a security system, and so a copy is not as good as the original.
What the hell's wrong with them? Doug, see, what we did was, we made a copy from 2. And you know how sometimes you make a copy of a copy, it's not quite as sharp as, well, the original. You know, he's a little special. He's fine. He'll be all right.
There's also Fantasia inside the mysterious tower, which I guess it makes sense that part of it is sleeping, and I don't know. There's also the Country of Musketeers, which, jumping ahead a little bit, I'm assuming this world is where Queen Minnie is originally from, since we don't see her in Timeless River. Otherwise, this is all starts to fall apart, and Mickey takes her as queen back to Disney Castle.
We gotta protect the world border.
So once again, Sora and Riku don't affect the overall story. Around this time, Axel, now Lee, and Dylan, Zalden, Alias, Lexius, Vexen, Evan, and Zexion, Yenzo, have started to come back as their human forms, much like Xehanort. And Lee starts to notice that Saïx, Aiza, is missing. I mean, so is Marluxia, Larxene, Demyx, and Luxord, but who cares, right? Sora and Riku are almost done with their task, and we see Yen Sid, Mickey, Donald, and Goofy sitting around when Maleficent's Raven shows up, and Mickey finds out that Maleficent kidnapped Queen Minnie. So that happened. Mickey, Donald, and Goofy go to rescue her, while Yen Sid thinks that everything seems to be happening too precisely, and something's fishy is going on around here. Mickey and company make it to Disney Castle, where Maleficent and Pete have Queen Minnie captured, and they ask for Disney Castle. Mickey thinks that she wouldn't go through all this just for a castle, and she says, yes, you're right, I want the book from Recoded, trying to make that game more relevant. When asked why she wants it, she says, I don't have to answer that. She also name-drops Xehanort and explains he's the reason why she knew about the Princesses of Heart as well as the other worlds. Okay, that wasn't a question I thought we needed to answer, but there you go, and that's when Maleficent goes to attack Mickey. We then see Axel's chakrams protect them from blasts. Minnie breaks away and rejoins back with Mickey and co, and then Maleficent and Pete, without their bargaining chip, decide to flee, making their whole point here kinda useless. Mickey states that Axel being here doesn't make sense, and Axel says, I'm not Axel, I'm Lee.
Got it memorized?
They head back to the mysterious tower where Lee asks to go under some training. After some time, Mickey, Yen Sid, Donald, and Goofy wonder if Lee is doing okay with the training, and then change the subject to Sora and Riku. Yeah, remember them? Because they don't know exactly what is happening with them. Mickey hypothesized whether Xehanort hijacked the exam. Yen Sid thinks it's a possibility, but very unlikely because Xehanort would have had to have been there back when Sora and Riku were on Destiny Islands, in which,
You do not yet know what lies beyond the door.
That's when Goofy says, but what if he traveled back in time just like Sora and Riku did? Hold up, did Goofy casually bring up the fact that this game has time travel? So, this game has time travel and dreams, which, as we're about to find out right after this, Riku accidentally incepted Sora and is in his dreams, which is why he's wearing a Dream Eater logo. And he confused with Dream Eaters, and why Sora just doesn't attack with the Dream Eaters.
Are you all saying that you can go into a dream and take people in that dream into their own dreams?
Not all the time, just this once, and maybe one other time.
It's so complex and cool.
Just because an idea is overly convoluted and complex doesn't make it cool. Going to multiple dream levels sounds like a really stupid idea.
You just don't get it because you're not smart enough.
Anyways, Mickey and Yen Sid realize that Xehanort has literally been in every Kingdom Hearts game except the one time in Recoded, which, see, not even the main villain cared to be in that one. They wonder if Xehanort could have thought ahead like this was all big game to him, like, okay, I see what you did there. Mickey says he knows where they will eventually go to, and I mean...
Wait, isn't this...
Yeah, makes sense. It's the villain's not secret base, of course. They are gonna be there. Sora and Riku both end up at different parts of the organization base and wonder why they are there if they are already put the 7 worlds to sleep, and that's when Xigbar shows up and tells Sora that this just very convenient plan that no one saw coming is the reason why their plan worked. Look, just because something sounds so stupid that it just might work is not a good story nor argument for this game's defense. Xigbar says that Sora's still sleeping and that the organization has him. Sora doesn't seem to care and says he'll just beat them all over again. And that's when Xehanort puts Sora into a deeper sleep and have him see the time travel events that led to this moment. And then Sora keeps going down more and more dream levels to the point he starts to see figments in his dreams like Naminé and Xion. That's when Riku sees where they are keeping Sora and he tries to tell Sora to wake up and not chase after his dreams, which Sora keeps chasing deeper and deeper into sleep, where I guess Roxas manifested inside his dreams and brings his Roxas memories from when he, Roxas, existed and shares them with him, Sora. Sora tries to process all of this. Riku tries to plead with Sora to stop chasing this dream, but the organization takes Sora away from Riku and keep him in the nightmare. Sora chases even deeper into the dream and Riku almost wakes him up, then...
Whoopsie daisy.
They drug Sora and put him into a sleep they say that he cannot wake up from. Sora wonders if they made Sora see those things, and Xigbar tells him he was dreaming. He saw whatever his heart wanted him to see. That's when Sora realizes that nobodies have hearts and that they were lying to him, which Xigbar and Xehanort tell Sora in no particular words. Duh. If you watch my 358 Days video, this is where Xehanort says that a nobody can regrow a heart and become a person again. Make this as easy as I can. A special nobody, one with a strong will, can regrow a heart but still be considered a nobody because they still don't belong to light or darkness. And they still have a heartless, but if the nobody and the heartless dies, they can come back as a somebody. Okay, you with me? Good. So, Xehanort's plan for the organization was to take 13 nobodies, tell them that they needed Kingdom Hearts to give them hearts, but not tell exactly a few of them that they'd be Xehanorts. Hook them up to Kingdom Hearts and become full Xehanorts. He also said some of the candidates were more than likely to fail, but was to be expected. Sora gets angry with all this science talk about how they treated people like a huge science experiment and shouts his own ideals about hearts. After a fight with Xemnas, Sora's body becomes heavy and he starts to fall asleep in this... what level are we in now? It doesn't matter. Young Xehanort, get ready for this one, tells Sora that the minute they left Destiny Island has been followed by the organization and guided him here since then, and they did it with an X. No, there we go. So, Xehanort wants Sora to be his 13th vessel, and that his heart will be sleeping in darkness while he becomes another Xehanort. But right before Sora takes an eternal darkness nap, a light protects him and we see Ventus's armor protect Sora as he falls into the Station of Awakening. Riku has a conversation with Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, about how Riku failed to save Sora, while Riku says to him that at least I can still use the Keyblade. After some personal reflecting, Riku tells Ansem that he's not stuck in his heart with Ansem. Ansem is stuck in Riku's heart with Riku. Then Riku defeats Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, again. Ansem's guardian looks to Riku and holds his hand out to him before fading away, which, remember this, because this will be important in Kingdom Hearts 3. Kinda. Riku makes his way back to the world that never was, but he's still a dream eater. Whatever, this story's almost over.
Right. I get it.
No, you don't. Riku makes it to the organization's meeting room and sees Sora sleeping and goes to wake him up when young Xehanort tells him to not touch his new vessel. Riku asks why did they take Sora. That's when young Xehanort says they originally wanted Riku, but because Riku can control the darkness better than most any other Keyblade wielder that isn't a Xehanort. They also considered Roxas, but Roxas turned in his resignation, so they honored his 2 weeks, so they went with Sora instead. Thanks to Riku and Sora downsizing their members, they decided to fill up the remaining members with other timelines of Xehanorts. How did they manage this?
It's magic.
He then explains the rules of time travel.
First, you must leave your body behind to do it. Then there must be a version of you waiting at the destination. Upon arrival, you can only move forward as per the laws of time.
Right before the most recent Xehanort shows up, Mickey casts a Stop Z to stop everyone except for Riku and Mickey in place. Mickey says grab Sora so they can get out of here, but young Xehanort shows that he's a Time Lord and tells them hands off his vessel. After Riku defeats him in an annoying time fight, the fight lasted too long and time resumes, and Old Man Xehanort says that he's back and that he knew everything that would happen up until right now. That anything past this point, he doesn't know. Mickey and Riku ask why he is doing this, and Old Man Xehanort explains all his plans failing to this point was because he was too eager to get Kingdom Hearts, and he says, well, 4th time's the charm, and this time he's gonna do it right, and tells Mickey and Riku to get ready that a war is coming, and that he has his 13 people, and if they don't have their 7 of Light to fight at the Keyblade Graveyard, then he's gonna take the 7 princesses and get Kingdom Hearts that way. Mickey makes a list that, don't worry, is going to change in Kingdom Hearts 3, and Xehanort goes to make Sora his 13th vessel. That's when...
Axel!
Axel? Please. The name's Lee. Got it memorized?
Why are you here, Axel?
No, I told you my name's... Whatever. Axel. Fine. Now let's get out of here.
Lee tells Xehanort that he forgot to write the sequel, and that's when Donald and Goofy shows up, and then Xehanort runs out of time and says that was a waste of time and to see everyone in Kingdom Hearts 3. Back in Mysterious Tower, they relay the information to Yen Sid, and they see that Sora's heart is still asleep. Yen Sid says that while the power of waking is meant to be used on worlds, that it's risky to use on a person. Riku does it anyway, since he stands a better chance than Mickey. He dives into Sora's dreams and fights the Nightmare Ventus armor, then goes deeper into Sora's heart and sees the 3 people that live in Sora's heart, Roxas, Ventus, and Xion. Also, Diz, or Ansem the Wise, is here, and he tells Riku that he had Naminé leave this message inside Sora's heart because there wasn't enough in here to begin with, that he left blueprints for nobodies to become somebodies again, since Sora was able to become himself again without destroying Roxas. Riku leaves Sora's heart and sees that Sora is...
Hey, Donald! Come on, you're hogging it all! Hey! Riku! You're safe! Riku! Wait, haven't we got this backwards? And why are you having a tea party? You're safe, Riku! Oh, never mind.
So, Sora and Riku ask Yensid if they pass the test, and Yensid says because Riku saved Sora and unlocked the final sleeping keyhole. In all actuality, this gets explained more later, but only Riku earned the Mark of Mastery. Better explanation than Erika's, I'll give him that. Sora's happy that Riku passed, and Lee says that he will surpass Sora because he's learning to use the Keyblade as well.
But I just couldn't get mine to materialize. Must be in the snap of the wrist or something. Oh.
Okay, Axel can use the Keyblade. Sora walks off to go see his Dream Eaters, and Kairi shows up to receive her Keyblade training for the inevitable Keyblade War that's about to happen, leading to the next game in the series, Kingdom Hearts 3. Nomura, my god, that was the hardest one to write so far. There's so much lore that gets rewritten, but also lies and whatnot, but whatever. So let's get to the gameplay, because this is actually probably one of my favorite of the series thus far. It's really solid. I think Birth by Sleep still has it beat, but the flow motion is really good in this game. The commands are really fun to use. From a story standpoint, Sora and Riku losing their ability to fight, but then have them relearn it is all kind of dumb. And the game is kind of broken because Sora and Riku's abilities that allow them to destroy any kind of platforming challenges thanks to the flow motion. Maybe if Yensid taught us these abilities in small spurts and then had us use them, or maybe he did but the game never says. Whatever. Most of the movements are back from the last few games with Sora in it, like high jump, glide, air dash.
Hey Tristan, what's the point of high jump?
Oh, that's... Yeah, when you can just flow motion your way around anything, all these platforming sections become kind of pointless. Flow motion works everywhere. You can throw large enemies, bounce off walls, grind on rails, swing around poles. These are some pretty fun segments, but you'll see them a lot since you're invincible throughout all of it. I think some bosses can mess with you, but not enough to worry about too much. Moving around the world is pretty quick thanks to the flow motion's ability, and I think that was meant to be the case because this was originally made for the 3DS title. Meant to be played in smaller spurts. I bet if this was a proper console release, things would have been made with longer play sessions in mind. But there's also the whole fact that a lot of these areas are pretty barren looking. I mean, look at Monstro in Kingdom Hearts 1 compared to here in Dream Drop Distance, and you can see that these areas are huge with nothing filled in them. The command deck from Birth by Sleep is brought back, but similar to that of Recoded, this game is pretty easy to break if you use the balloon spell, which my first few playthroughs I didn't really touch because I didn't realize how broken it was until, well, more recently. So, because Sora and Riku are both playable characters, you have to finish each world as both of them to progress. And while you can play through a whole set of worlds as Sora, then clean up with Riku, you lose some perks when dropping. You get little buffs thanks to how long you played and how many enemies you killed, which can make the next character have an easier time, but this game also does something that I never messed with, and that's worlds will have a dream forecast that when Sora and Riku fall asleep, it's the next dream forecast, and certain challenges and rare Dream Eaters will only appear during those times, which if you're going to 100% means a whole lot of dropping. Plus, another annoying factor of this drop mechanic is the minute it starts counting down and you're in a boss fight, you have to start that boss fight over in its entirety the minute you drop. So the Dream Eaters are your companion in this game. Sora can team up with them like I said before and use them to do some devastating attacks, and Riku can fuse with them and use them similar to that of the style commands in Birth by Sleep. With the different variety of Dream Eaters, there are only a handful that I like to use, like Wheelflower, and the rare ones that have a lot of buffs increased to my overall HP and cure abilities, like the R&R Seal and the Fruits Cats. I would have stuck with these, but in order to get more of the abilities like Leaf Bracer, Once More, Second Chance, or skills, you have to use the Dream Eaters, play with them, feed them, and use them in the party until they are unlocked. I remember having more fun with these in high school. I guess it benefited with the portable factor and the AR ability, but with it being on the console, I hardly mess with them and just overfed them to unlock their abilities. The only other thing you can do with them is to put them in these competitions against each other in card game style minigames similar to that of... It's glorified war is what it really is. I mean, it's more involved than chow raising, but I had more fun with the chows than I did with the Dream Eaters. I think that you should get the abilities via leveling up than rather getting them by leveling up Dream Eaters. The fights in this game are not very crazy except for that final boss where you have to dodge roll till you can hit him, and the super boss Julius, which is the only way that you're going to get the ultimate Keyblade in this game. The game isn't very long, even though you're going to play this game twice technically. I clocked in around 36 hours or so. I did enjoy my time with this one out of all the games so far. I think this one ranks probably number 4 with the exception of Kingdom Hearts 3, but we'll see when we get to the end of this marathon. If you're curious, give it a try. I recommend this one over a few of the other black sheep in this series. Well, we got one more game to go before Kingdom Hearts 3, and so, next time when we meet, it'll be for Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. We're at the final end of this marathon. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again real soon.